We have a new sensor, bigger.
It's still not a 1-inch sensor.
We're going from 12 megapixel to a new 48 megapixel ultra-wide camera.
The best feature about the larger phone
Has to be a pretty great camera.
has to be
for
an
sure.
amazing camera. iPhone SE 4th generation.
Woo! Sounds pretty exciting to me. Hey everyone, welcome. This is PhoneArena Show, episode 12. Yes, we're still counting. Hi Vic.
Hey Rad, what's up?
Excited for another round of crazy mobile tech updates.
This time we're tackling the big topics.
The big stuff is today, guys. It's happening. We have the latest news surrounding the iPhone 16. Everyone cares about the iPhone 16, so we gotta deliver the updates.
And it's coming soon.
Plus, iPhone 17 Slim, which is not coming soon, but still pretty interesting
It's
to
a
talk
brand
about.
new rumor, so pretty exciting.
Always exciting. And then we gotta move on straight to the iPhone SE 4, this mythical phone, which we're expecting from, I don't know, maybe 2 years now.
Yeah. It's on an irregular schedule. We don't know when it's coming, but it seems to be finally coming, and we probably have a date. We probably have some news. So
And some,
stick
yeah,
around.
exciting updates as well. Apple Intelligence, we cannot go without some AI sprinkle on that episode as well. Absolutely mandatory. And then Galaxy Watch 7, we have the brand new
Right here.
face of the wearable industry here, Vic, with fresh insights from his experience with the Watch 7. Looks pretty cool, by the way.
Looks nice.
I like it.
This is the smaller version, so this is not the Ultra. It's just the regular Galaxy Watch 7.
But does it have like two sizes or just one size watch?
Yes, it's available in two sizes. This is
Okay.
the smaller one. You also have a slightly bigger size for bigger
Okay.
wrists.
This one looks pretty reasonable.
Yeah.
Like the design with this green and blue stitching on both ends. Very different.
Samsung is stepping up its design game, definitely. I
Yeah.
would say so.
We'll talk about its fitness tracking game as well.
This one is tricky.
But first, we gotta tackle the big one, which is the iPhone 16. A lot of updates, exciting. Let's see what's new in terms of features again.
Let's start right away. What is the biggest new feature in the iPhone 16? What would you say?
Which is a pretty tough question, to be honest. Depends on which iPhone 16.
Oh, good point.
Right, because we have 4. If we look at the whole series, I think it has to be Apple Intelligence because each of the iPhone 16 gonna get it, right?
Right.
It's the one feature that all iPhone 16 models are gonna receive is Apple Intelligence, AI stuff. Because then we get, actually, you know, for a lot of time we've been waiting for Apple to step up its charging game.
Okay.
Please, come on, Apple, step it up, because they're stuck at what, 20 watts? 25
Officially it's 20 watts, but the Pro models unofficially support around 25 watts.
Okay, they
Not very fast.
overcharging speed to 25 watts, and then wireless is limited to 15 watts.
Yeah, that's
Is that's not the industry highest standard, right?
Oh, not even close, no.
For wireless.
No, not even
Oh,
close.
okay, yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
There's way faster wireless charging out there. But now the rumors are iPhone 16, and I'm not sure if it goes both for the 16 and the 16 Pro models. But check this out. The rumor is 40 watts. 40 watts of fast charging, pure energy going into the phones.
That sounds good. That sounds better. It's close to Samsung. Samsung provides 45 watts with the
closing in.
Galaxy S24 Ultra and the S24 Plus. But with Samsung, you need to get a slightly bulkier charger and a different cable because the regular cable only provides 3 amps. So if you pair up the special 45 watt charger with a regular cable, it
won't
won't deliver the fastest speed. So let's see if Apple also requires a new charger. That's for sure because the current one only supports 20 watts.
For sure.
The,
Yeah,
the stock one. let's call it.
Yeah.
So probably you're gonna need a new charger if you don't already have one,
Yeah.
and maybe new cables. But let's see, this one, I'm not sure if that's ever happening because we keep on hearing about this every year. Apple's gonna give us faster charging. It never happens. But
I mean, the question is when, right?
Yeah.
When is the question? And 40 watts, I mean, it's not industry leading by any means, but it's still closing the gap.
So that would mean roughly right now it takes around 1 hour and 40 minutes to fully charge an iPhone. And
Which one? The bigger
think
ones or smaller ones?
all of them are around one hour
there.
50,
Okay.
1 hour 40 minutes. And with these speeds, it would cut it down to probably 1 hour and 10 minutes, which is
Which is
significantly
meaningful.
faster.
Yeah, it's better. And I'm not sure about the fast charging curve because I know at this point it's still slower. Like for half an hour, you get what? Do you get 50%?
Yeah, you get around 50% in half an hour.
Okay.
And this would probably mean you can get maybe around 60, 70.
60 something.
Yeah.
percent.
That would be better for a quick top up during the day if you don't want to charge overnight. So yeah.
Yeah, well, that's important. Yeah, fast charging is pretty important. And then MagSafe is probably gonna get increase as well.
Oh, okay.
Maybe from 15 watts to 20 watts. At least these are the expectations.
Slightly faster.
I hope so. Yeah. I don't know what are the fastest wireless charging speeds out there.
Yeah, you have some Chinese phones that can reach 50 watts, and I think that some more recent ones have chargers, wireless chargers that can go to 60 or even 66 watts. I think these are companies like Huawei and Honor. But honestly, those chargers, we've tried to get them and test them out, are very hard to obtain and to purchase.
Yeah.
And they're practically available in very limited markets in very limited quantities. So it's kind of a niche feature. And yeah, those are much faster, but usually those chargers also have some form of active cooling. So there is a fan on the back of the charger, so it's a bit more complicated. But yeah, in terms of just regular familiar phones, Samsung phones charge at around 15 watts with their wireless chargers. So similar to Apple. And then Google has a slightly faster wireless charger, but the Google Pixel Stand, but again, it also has active cooling. And yeah.
Right. Oops. Okay, so that's the situation with the charging with new iPhones. Hopefully, it's finally gonna get significantly faster. Then we move on to the
One quick question, quick note here. So one interesting rumor that kind of ties in with the leaks about the faster charging is that Apple is said to improve the overheating problems on iPhones. And how is it gonna do this? It's gonna put a larger graphite sheet, according to the rumors in the upcoming iPhones. So
and when you say overheating, what do you mean exactly?
So I mean, this would be gaming.
Because iPhones don't overheat.
Oh,
obviously.
they used to like
Never.
the iPhone 15 Pro series. Like you remember when they launched, you had this big scandal around overheating. They would reach quite high temperatures when you charge them.
And then you get aggressive throttling, basically, right?
And aggressive throttling. But Apple fixed this really quickly with a software update, so it wasn't a real issue. Maybe it was a problem. It was talked about for a week or so. Apple very quickly got on top of that. So this larger graphite sheet will allow exactly those moments where the iPhone is most vulnerable to overheating, which is the charging. So it will allow for better heat dissipation. So this kind of ties in with the rumors for 40-watt faster charging. So faster charging, more heat. You need a better cooling element for cooling.
And what is that? Let's just explain to the readers, to the viewers, actually. What's the graphite sheet? Is it like some sort of analog to like vapor chamber cooling?
So these are the two technologies that companies use for cooling. One is vapor chambers, and this is what Samsung uses, and the other is a graphite sheet, which is basically a slim sheet of this special material that is placed in a very specific place, usually around the battery, the processor, the parts that get hotter.
Right.
In fact, both work similarly, and it's hard to really pick a major difference and say one technology is better than the other. So the effect of both is similar, and it's quite minimal. For smartphones, you have a very small space. You don't have active cooling, so these are passive forms of cooling.
There's no fan.
Yeah, there's no fan. But yeah, these are just two slightly different technologies. This one is just a film, but it should work better just because it's a larger area, which is the major thing. Samsung is also doing this, but with their vapor chamber, they put a larger vapor chamber in their latest phone. So it seems that
And it seemed like it made a difference with the Fold 6 when
did,
compared it to the 5.
That's true,
Yeah. Seems to work pretty well. Okay, we'll take a look at that graphite sheet and how good it is. But then we have also cameras. rumored new camera sensors are still 48 megapixel sensor, but new and bigger sensors in the Pro models. It's said to be a new Sony IMX 903 sensor.
But it's still not a 1-inch sensor, right?
No, it's not 1
It's
inch.
still like around 1.3, 1 to 1.2. It's
Yeah.
not quite
Yeah.
as large as those biggest sensors, right?
I don't know how much of a difference would it make from that size to the 1 inch sensor.
It's exactly as it says. I think Apple currently uses 1 to 1.3 inches, so it would be 30%, 20 to 30% difference in size.
Yeah. And then so that's for the main camera. So we expect some sort of a meaningful upgrade there in terms of photo quality with the main camera, and then also a big upgrade, long overdue probably for. But then again, the competition also doesn't really impress with their ultra wide cameras. So we're going from 12 megapixel to a new 48 megapixel ultra wide camera.
Oh, that's good news. That's
It
good
should be
news.
pretty great actually, yeah, because the ultra wide camera typically gives you the worst quality.
Yeah, that's true. And with the 12 megapixel camera, especially, you notice those artifacts like the over sharpening, the detail is not as
A lot
good.
more.
Yeah, this should be a big change for the ultra wide camera.
And then the big news.
What is it?
It's not news, it's just a rumor, but yeah, it seems pretty, probable to happen is that both the small iPhone 16 Pro as well as the big one, the Pro Max, are getting the same tetraprism 5x zoom telephoto camera.
Oh, that's a nice upgrade. I
Yeah.
have mixed feelings about this though.
Why?
Because I really like the 3x zoom camera. I like this. The 3x perspective is just perfect for.
Wasn't that the 2x perspective though?
That's true. That, like, because I'm a big fan. Red is making fun of me. I'm a big fan of the 2x zoom and 3x zoom perspective because these are perfect for taking portrait
Yeah.
pictures, like portrait photos of people, and these are just like in photography terms, this would be 50 millimeters and around 80 millimeters. So these are the preferred lenses that professional photographers would use to capture pictures of people.
Yeah.
And 5x zoom would be a very long range zoom. So it would be good if you want to capture some faraway detail, taking a picture at a concert, something like that. But for regular shots in daily life where we want to take photographs of friends and family, probably not the best focal length.
For sure.
So that's why I have kind of mixed feelings. So the quality at 3x zoom, if you don't no longer have the camera, will be a bit worse.
Probably,
So,
yeah.
yeah, it's a bit of a, yeah.
Although, I hate the 3x camera, to be honest.
Oh, why,
Like
why-
when I was still on the 10s and had a 2x camera, I used it a lot. All the time I would use 2x the framing.
Right.
And then when I moved on to the 13 Pro and it had only 3x and I couldn't do like sensor cropping because it was the small camera still, the 12 megapixel one, I stopped using it. 3x is just, for most situations, it would seem like too much.
And imagine 5x though.
And 5x, 5x is like a specialty thing, I don't know, for outside for sure.
Yeah.
Indoors, you don't have much to do with the 5x.
Oh, yeah.
So it's
Definitely.
when you really want to go far, the 5x is going to work, I guess, fine. But here's the thing. Now, they're improving the sensor. You have a new sensor, bigger,
Okay.
and it's 48 megapixels. So that means the 2x sensor crop is going to look
So you're talking about the main camera. So the main camera.
Yeah, with the main camera, you'll be able to do better 2x shots
Right.
than with the 15 Pro.
Okay.
And so it's going to be upgraded to 2x. It's going to look better. And at that point, I don't know if it's just not going to really match or even exceed a real 3x camera.
Yeah.
Because it was like 12 megapixel, right?
Yes, that's true. Yeah.
Right.
So yeah,
Who knows?
we'll see. But so now both models, the large and the small models, are getting 5 times zoom.
Yeah, that's the big E, tetraprism. The features that's gonna sell is this one. They figured out a way to stuff it in the smaller Pro phone, finally.
Yeah.
And here's something interesting. And of course, that's not new. Like the iPhone 16 Pro is rumored to increase in screen size from 6.1 to 6.3 inches.
Yeah.
And the Pro Max is going to go from 6.7 to 6.9. And correct me if I'm wrong, but are the whole dimensions of the phones going to increase with that, or they're making the margins, the bezels even thinner?
Yeah, I think the latest rumors are the bezels are getting slightly thinner yet again because this was the big move last year. But also inevitably the dimensions will also
gonna get
grow
bigger.
a little bit
Yeah.
bigger. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much probably how they're going to differentiate the Pro and the Pro Max with that size increase.
And we should also talk about the battery size, right? Because the Pro Max is getting a bigger battery, probably the biggest increase in the series, which is great because this is what's the best feature about the larger phone.
Pro Max.
And the Pro Max specifically. You have great battery life.
Yeah.
So some changes are happening to the lineup. We hoped that with the small model, with the increase in size, would get a decent battery upgrade. That's probably not gonna happen, but at least the bigger Pro Max is getting an upgrade. And interestingly, the Plus model might actually get a smaller battery size than before, which means that Apple is trying to kind of separate the Pro Max from the Plus, and probably with better battery life, more people would go for the more expensive models, which
that'll be pretty weird. I mean,
clever thing to do, but
the worst way to separate them is to nerf the Plus.
those will be small tweaks, but yeah, it's an interesting.
Yeah, we tweaked the battery a little bit. Just a small fine tuning of the battery, make it a little bit smaller.
Yeah, I think we should just jump on, as we are on the topic of battery, we should just jump to the next topic, which is the iPhone 17 Slim.
Woo! Sounds pretty exciting to me.
Yeah, it does actually, because like iPhone design has been pretty much the same in the past 5
since
years.
the 12.
Since the 12,
sure.
yeah. So no big changes. iPhone 17 Slim, definitely much thinner. These are the expectations.
What's the rumor there? 6.6 millimeters?
6.6 inches in
inch
terms
display.
of
Okay.
the display size. We don't know the exact size, but it's probably gonna be significantly thinner so that Apple can actually call it slim. But it's not coming right away. So obviously iPhone 17, that is not this year. It's coming next year in 2025. Rumors just appeared about this thing in July this month. So it's kind of brand new. It's not certain at all, but a couple of sources are saying that it will happen. And interestingly, it will be, we're not sure if it's gonna be a fifth model or if it's gonna replace the Plus model.
Yeah.
Both are currently on the table as far as our understanding is right now. And it seems that most people tend to think that it will be a new model in the lineup. We'll see. Very interestingly, of course, slim model also suggests a smaller battery size. So that would be the big issue and the big thing to watch out for. Very interestingly, rumors say it will have only one camera on the back. I don't know what that
has to be a pretty great camera.
It has to be an amazing camera, but it will be the first iPhone that is not an SE in a while to come with just one camera. So that would be an interesting move, and we don't know the price. Some sources say it's gonna be a premium model, $1,200. We're not sure. We're not sure, but this one is an exciting rumor. It's coming next year. And we'll see what it's all about. That's all we know about it so far. But
the display size kind of makes sense to me, 6 point in between the Pro and the Pro Max.
Right.
They would do that when they want to create kind of a new golden middle category. Premium one.
I'm waiting for this golden middle for a long time. I think we need some model which is just mid-sized iPhone model. That is not too big. That is not too small. I think many people will love this.
We'll see how it works. And as you said, the price rumor is it's going to be expensive, like the premium tier. It's not going to be a cheap thing for sure.
But then you have just one camera, so
which it would be weird because you cannot do a spatial video with it.
Right. Which is the spatial video. Let's remind everyone is the feature that you can use in the Apple Vision Pro to kind of see a 3D video. And it's kind of a big thing for Apple. And it would be interesting if it decides to skip it for the slim model.
Yeah, we'll see. I guess we have time. We have time for that. We'll revisit the topic soon enough. Which brings us, though, to, if I'm not mistaken, Apple Intelligence, your favorite
Oh, okay, yeah.
AI implementation. So what we have here is an interesting rumor that it's not coming. Apple Intelligence is not happening this September
Okay, this September. I thought you were gonna say it's not coming
ever.
at all.
I don't know if I would be that bothered, but yeah. They'll probably come in October with the iOS 18.1
Okay.
update. A little bit later, Apple seems to be, from looking at from today's standpoint, they seem to be like, oh, I guess we need a little bit more time to, fix a few bugs here and there.
Right.
So the chances are that it won't be here maybe on release date for the iPhone 16 release, but next month or in a few weeks, it's probably gonna arrive. These are today's expectations. And again, but still, the good news is, again, somewhat speculative, but also probable is, so iOS 18 is now in public beta, but they say that a developer beta for 18.1 is probably coming this week, as soon as this week.
Oh, that's unusual, right?
Yeah, it's unusual. I think it's happened once maybe before with the iPadOS 16, something like that, around Stage Manager launch.
Oh, okay.
So they seem to have done it for big releases like that, big feature launches. So
they kind of want developers to have a bit extra time
Yeah.
to test this out. Yeah, that makes sense for.
they want to give it to developers, but they're not ready, so they can start. Maybe then I don't know, testing it, implementing it, working on it, getting to know how it's gonna.
Oh, and not just that, developers are gonna give some important feedback to Apple
Yeah.
itself. Yeah. Okay.
But then they also seem to be a little bit cautious of launching it in September, which is a little bit of a red flag, because we already know this thing is launching in beta status. Like,
Yeah.
from the beginning, we know it's gonna have that beta label,
Or maybe even Gamma.
and maybe even gamma. I don't know if that counts before beta, but anyway, and we are only getting some features in the beginning.
Right.
You get your Genmoji,
Yeah.
and what was the other thing? Image Playground, which is gonna be pretty cool. Basically.
Probably won't get the big one, which is Siri, the new
No,
Siri.
no, you're not getting it for sure.
Okay.
The Siri update, even probably the ChatGPT implementation, I would bet money this is coming along with the Siri update and not earlier.
That would make sense, yeah.
And for that one, still next year, around spring, is the estimated time frame.
Now, that's a bit disappointing because it seems that this year there are no huge hardware upgrades. So Apple was kind of relying on the software, on the AI to kind of sell the new iPhone 16 models. But yeah, it's coming. We know it's coming. It's just gonna be delayed a little bit.
It's gonna be some sort of a launch, yeah, and probably we're gonna get most of the AI generation, content generation things, like the writing tools, image playground. Obviously, probably you'll be able to quickly generate images in the Notes app and stuff like that, and use the other two. So most of the basic AI content generative stuff is going to be there, but the big ones, we'll have to wait for those, which is bad because there are conflicting rumors as to how much iPhone 16s Apple's going to sell.
Okay.
So they're hoping that the estimates for the iPhone 15 last year, in 2023, sales were 81 million, around that. And then for this year, Apple believed, we're told, that they're going to be able to sell between 90 and 100 million products.
So a stronger year.
Stronger year, chiefly motivated by the AI hype. And
Right.
that they're adding Apple Intelligence. But with this, how would I say it?
These recent developments.
These recent AI developments, it seems like with that sort of like beta launch and just you get just these features now, and we'll see about the others. So, Ming-Chi Kuo, our favorite Apple leakster, is estimating that Apple's gonna sell mostly around 87 million phones, so slightly below the low end of the target, which was 90 million. So
Okay.
he says that supply chain sources are getting orders for about
Right.
87 million. So
Right.
probably gonna be an increase over the 15 series, but not a huge one.
Huge one.
Yeah.
And on this topic, I wanted to pay attention to one recent report, which is that Apple just recently dropped to 6th place in terms of sales in China, which hasn't happened in a while. It has always been in the top 5, and obviously China is, I would say, the second biggest market after the US. So it's a hugely important market for Apple, but it seems that local competition is stepping up its game. We see many more new foldables. We see just regular phones, like Huawei is obviously a strong brand. We see newer brands like Honor on the Chinese market. Of course, Xiaomi. We have the Apple conglomerate, Apple, Vivo. So there's lots of competition. It's a very vibrant market. And Apple has dropped to 6th place. So there are big hopes that with the iPhone 16 launch, it can kind of go back to the top 5, and it probably will because it's a brand new launch.
Did it drop from 5th to 6th place, or was it?
I'm not sure if it was on the fifth spot, but it was in the top 5.
Right. Oh.
It certainly wasn't first.
Falling out of the top 5, man.
Yeah,
For sure, it hurts.
yeah.
Although they're set to make some ground, maybe in India this year.
Yeah, so one other interesting development is that for the first time, so this goes more towards the geopolitical side of things. So we obviously know that there is this danger of China attacking Taiwan, and which would put the whole iPhone production thing in huge danger.
Yeah.
So in the past few years, Apple has been trying to expand production in other markets, and most of that is India.
Yeah.
And for the first time this year, Apple is rumored to make the iPhone 16 Pro models to manufacture them in India. So far, it has been manufactured in the basic models, the SE version, but now Pro models are also gonna be made in India, which is a nice way to diversify manufacturing a little bit.
Yeah. Otherwise, you may be stuck buying just vanilla iPhones and no Pro models on the shelves. That would be bad.
And just in July, India also dropped its import taxes, so now it's much easier to import those components. And the companies and the country is definitely working towards helping Apple grow that manufacturing. which
Yeah,
is great
it
to see.
is.
Yeah.
Wasn't it like a requirement for Apple to do some sort of business in India as well? Just they had to bring some of their manufacturing to India. There was
India
something
has
in that.
these laws that require the company to have some manufacturing in order to sell. So it's kind of it's an interesting relationship between Apple and India, and a growing one. Yeah.
As well, and India is still a growing market. Like,
Oh, it's a huge market.
I don't know
also.
if at that point Tim Cook doesn't just consider China to be that's as much as we're gonna get here, guys.
Yep, could be, but China is multiple times larger in terms of sales compared to India. And India is well known to be an Android dominated place. And specifically, Indian people seem to love budget phones, which Apple is not great at.
Not really great. Although we do have the SE coming on.
Yeah, let's transition to that. So the iPhone SE 4th generation,
Yep.
it's hard to remember because it's being released so rarely, but it's the 4th generation. We are finally hearing rumors about it. It's been 2 years since the last one, more than 2 years.
Yeah.
And the new one seems to be finally ready to come
Almost here.
in 2025.
Oh.
So not almost here. But the interesting development is that they say that it will adopt the chassis of the iPhone 16. So it will be a
Okay.
modern chassis. Does this mean that it will get 2 cameras? That's the big question. We don't know.
Yeah.
Previous renders showed this model way earlier with just one camera,
Just one, the main
which
camera,
is
yeah.
how it's been so far.
Yeah.
But it could be the case that we finally get an iPhone SE with two cameras. And again, we go back to spatial video.
Yeah.
Apple really wants to push that. It's a possibility. And the price is going to be below $500, which is great. Larger screen, the big move, Face ID. So it's pretty much going to be like an iPhone 15 with some slight downgrades. Yeah, let's see. I would bet on a release in March or April 2025.
Okay, because the latest that leak from Weibo, which again confirmed, and it was like, hey guys, the manufacturing process for the backplate of the new SE is pretty much identical to that of the 16.
Yeah.
And then they also added, its shipping begins towards the end of September,
Okay.
which I'm not sure what it means. Just saying, just throwing it out there. Perhaps, there might be a September surprise from Apple with the iPhone SE.
That's a very far-fetched possibility.
Yeah, I wouldn't bet money on that, but still, it's there. It's there.
It would be very strange if Apple released a cheap iPhone SE that would compete with their premium iPhones on the day they launch their premium iPhones. I don't think that's happening.
Yeah, doesn't make too much sense. You're right. Alrighty, and that's gonna be a modern iPhone SE. They're skipping this. There was a phase where there was a lot of talk about how we're gonna get the SE4 with the iPhone 10R design, the 11 design, something like that.
Oh, there were crazy rumors.
But now we got something closely resembling to a modern iPhone 16 or whatever it is, and OLED display, dynamic island, Face ID.
It sounds like an interesting iPhone that might cannibalize sales of the other iPhones.
Yeah. It definitely sounds like that. Alrighty, and then so what else do we have?
Well, we have one interesting development, which is around Apple Maps.
Woo! Apple Maps.
Apple Maps has always been kind of, not the favorite product. Most people use Google Maps, right?
Yeah.
But Apple Maps has been growing. They have been developing the product, and especially in the US, you get these really nice visualizations, different cities. So it looks great. Outside the US, not so much.
Not so great.
Not so great. But yeah, one advantage that Google Maps always had, that it is kind of platform agnostic. You can just go use it on your notebook, use it on your computer, use it on the web. Now, finally, Apple Maps is coming to the web. So Google Maps should be a little bit worried. You can, right now you can go to beta.maps.apple.com, and there you can see the new interface. It's straightforward, it's easy to use, and you get Apple Maps on the web, which is long overdue, but it's finally here and it's good to see.
Yeah. I wonder who's going to use that. I mean, it's obviously for Windows PCs, is how I see it, because Macs have the Maps app.
Right, yeah.
You have Maps on your desktop Mac.
It's mostly for Windows PCs.
So I guess it's going to be for Windows users.
Although I don't have the habit of opening like many apps on my MacBook, so I would just
because you use Google Maps, that's why you don't open it.
But for me, it's just, I do everything on the web, so maybe even some people who use the Mac might prefer to. It would be quicker to.
Yeah, actually, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
We're used to doing everything through the web browser. So.
Yeah, it's just the habit, but. Yeah.
That could be like actually on the Mac, if you think about it, a booster for Apple Maps usage. That way, if you can just open it from the web,
and
not have to go through with the app.
Through the app, yeah. Who knows? Yeah.
Alrighty, so that means we're left with, ladies and gentlemen, the face of the wearable industry.
Oh, that would be me.
That's big, and he's reviewing the Apple Watch. So much Apple news, and everything's Apple. But this here is the Samsung Galaxy Watch 7.
Our only non-Apple topic this podcast.
For today.
This is the Galaxy Watch 7. I've been using it for almost a week. not quite a week, but enough time to gather some first impressions. And the review is soon coming to PhoneArena.com, so check it out. It looks pretty much like the previous generation watch, but with some slight and welcome design refinements and improvements. Now the mechanism for the bands here, the straps, you have this quick swap mechanism, so it's easier to swap bands, and you can also use just regular bands,
Nice.
which is not the case for the new Galaxy Watch Ultra, which uses a special system.
Not nice.
Not nice, okay, and this will take me some time.
Easy, quick switch mechanism.
Yeah. What I like about this Galaxy Watch, first, I really like smaller things like the app experience and the watch faces. You can't imagine what a difference a good watch face makes on a smartwatch. And Samsung has got it right this time. The watch faces look absolutely stunning. They are full of information. Complications are plentiful, and you can customize it all you want. So right now I have one of the new watch faces, which is the default one. You have your weather. You have, how many are there? I think that around 8 or 9 complications, which is as much as you get on the Apple Watch. So Samsung has really stepped up its game here. The interface feels a little bit smoother. And one thing Samsung promised us is better battery life with a more efficient chipset here. Unfortunately, I am not seeing that. I'm seeing the opposite of that, which is really bad because this was a 1-day battery life watch, and now it's worse than 1-day battery life. It's close to 1 day, but not quite there. The good news, this is probably a bug that is a software bug that Samsung is gonna fix very soon. And there are many reports already on the web, on Reddit, on different places about people experiencing bad battery life on the Galaxy Watch 7. And yeah, so wait for the update. I would be waiting for the update.
Before buying it.
Yeah, before buying it. But right now it's, yeah, you can, it will last you 1 day, but not more.
It's not great.
It's definitely not great.
But it's about like Apple Watch Series 9 type of battery life.
Yeah, right now it's a little bit worse, but hopefully after the update it will
When they fix it.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's pretty much everything new about this Galaxy Watch.
Does it have any new sensors, new things that it measures?
The sensor is new. It looks different, but the way it measures things is pretty similar. So it's not the greatest heart rate sensor around.
Okay.
And if you watch the more scientific reviews of different smartwatches, you'd probably know that the Apple Watch is the most accurate in terms of heart rate measurements. Now this one, I tried it in a few different workouts. I did a couple of bike rides, open water swimming, running, what else? Strength training, different types of activities. And for strength training particularly, I had the same issue with the previous Galaxy Watch. It would start with a very high measurement when I'm still warming up. And when you compare it to a different watch that is more accurate, or to a heart rate monitor, I typically reach around 110 BPM. That's my heart rate during the warm-up phase, not more, probably less. And this one can detect 140 BPM. So it's a huge difference in the beginning. That was the same issue as last year, hasn't changed much. In terms of sleep tracking, I really like the way Samsung presents the information in the Galaxy app. It's very approachable, very easy, but it does have some problems with the measurement. So if you're relying on this to give you perfectly correct sleep stages, probably not the best thing. Deep sleep stages are usually underestimated. Awake time is off, so probably not the most accurate one. But I hope some slight improvements have been made. I will test this more and give you my final thoughts in the review. And yeah, check it out. It's not too expensive. It looks good. I like the new style of the bands. I like the design, the comfort.
Yeah, it looks pretty dope.
Yeah, it's a good watch, but battery life has to be fixed.
Yeah.
Heart rate accuracy has to be better. And GPS was actually fine. GPS accuracy was pretty good. So yeah, that's the Galaxy Watch 7.
Do you get any benefit if you're like a Samsung Galaxy phone user,
Right.
if you get this Galaxy Watch versus pretty much any other smartwatch?
You do have some metrics that are only available with a Galaxy, and we should say that this won't work with an iPhone.
Yeah.
So if you want to pair this is Wear OS based. It won't work with an iPhone. So it has to be paired to an Android phone.
Right, right.
And there are some benefits of using it with the Galaxy smartphone, but most of the features will be available on any Android phone.
Right, yeah. Okay, so it's official. Galaxy Watch 7 still cannot beat the CMF Watch Pro 2.
Ooh,
The ultimate,
hot take.
ultimate in smartwatches, basically, with 10-day battery life. Yeah, I'm not gonna get into that. Perhaps next time when we also have the review of that one ready. And so, okay, I believe this is it for today's episode.
That's right.
A whole host of Apple news. I hope you guys found this interesting, but be sure to visit us at PhoneArena.com from our daily, incredibly intense news section and the review of the Watch 7, which is coming pretty soon, and a whole, plethora of other amazing content. And we'll see you guys next time.
Thanks for watching. See you around.